now. He's
my god.
Dude, he's being a funny pyro, man.
I'm just gonna kill you myself.
For me, pal.
Ah!
Oh my god!
I was looking for Josh.
Keep moving, lads.
Oh, nice shot, sir.
Hello gentlemen and gentleladies, my name is Sir Stanger, and today we're going to be talking about friendlies and free-to-plays, an especially sensitive topic, mostly to friendlies and free-to-plays. Now this is a topic that I myself go back and forth on quite a bit. I'm not really sure how I feel about it sometimes, and other times I'm pretty sure I know how I feel, but today I'm going to try and solidify it once and for all and say exactly how I feel about this topic. I'm going to go ahead and start off with free-to-plays, because I feel like they might be a bit of an easier topic to cover, so let's go ahead and start with them. So a free-to-play, by the most general and basic definition, is someone who is playing Team Fortress 2 for free, hasn't paid a single penny to play the game, and is maybe going to continue doing so. Now, players who are free-to-play are often characterized by the fact that they usually wear the ghastly gibbous and the pyrovision goggles, mostly because they're some of the only free cosmetics you can get in the game of Team Fortress 2, you know, without having to pay anything out of your pocket. This isn't always the case, as some players haven't even reached those goals to actually get those hats just yet, because you can get them from achievements, but, you know, sometimes they also have unusuals and stuff like that. It's possible to trade your way up to looking pay-to-play, even if you're not. Free-to-play players come from all walks of life. Sometimes they're little kids who really can't, you know, afford any money to put into an online game. They don't have a credit card yet, so they can't do anything like that. Sometimes they're grown-ass adults too cheap to put any money on a game. And sometimes they're just people looking for a good time and heard that TF2 was free, so they thought they'd give it a shot. And they might not have given it a shot otherwise if they found out they had to pay for it. This is all thanks to the fact that TF2 went free-to-play many years ago, and this is potentially, in my opinion, one of the most important and probably best updates that TF2 ever received, the free-to-play update. I know it's really controversial to say that. I know a lot of people really dislike the fact that this game went free to play, and I'm going to talk about it in much greater detail in a different video that I have, you know, upcoming. But I personally feel like the game going free to play was one of the best possible decisions that Valve could have made with this game. Okay, so there are a plethora of reasons why people don't like free-to-plays, and I think a lot of it just stems from the fact that they're very inexperienced with the game, and I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, I think a lot of people need to chill out. But reactions aside, I think the number one reason why people don't like free-to-plays is because they tend to just be pretty shitty at Team Fortress 2. Obviously, it's totally expected for them to be like that. They haven't played this game ever, and it's a really weird and wacky game with its own set of rules, completely different from most other games, and I wouldn't expect anybody just jumping into it to know what the fuck they're doing, but you know, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, so some people will give them shit for that. Free-to-players are known to do such stupid things as to be the third or fourth sniper or spy on a team, or to, you know, build as engineer on the last point of a map, even if we're nowhere near that point yet, or to build right next to another more experienced engineer, just because it looks like that might be a good spot, even though that just made his sentry spot a million times weaker by adding that. At their level of experience, free-to-players are really expected to be nothing more than cannon fodder for more experienced players, just a good way to rank up your strange weapons. But when I was talking to some of my friends about reasons why people hate free-to-plays, one of the most common answers that I got was that not only do they suck, but they don't really listen to more competent players. So if a better player tries to tell them, hey, don't build your sentry here, it's not going to do much good, you know, try building it over here, a lot of the times either, you know, A, they won't be listening, maybe they don't have their headphones in or something like that, or they won't be reading chat, or they just straight up refuse, like they'll just tell you no, that they're not going to do that. And I think that's a really, really important thing to remember, is that it's not a one-sided thing. You know, not all people who are pay-to-play just inherently hate free-to-plays just for being free-to-plays. There are actually, you know, rather infuriating free-to-play players out there who refuse to learn, who refuse to listen, and just think they know everything. And I know that there are already, like, at least, like, 20 or 30 or maybe more than that free-to-play players watching this video, and they say, but Sir Stanger, I'm actually really good at this game. You know, I've only been playing for so long, but I'm actually really good at this game, or I've been playing for a really long time as a free-to-play, and I'm getting really good at this game, and I always listen to people who are better than me. And you know what? That's great. You know, this doesn't apply to everyone. Not all free-to-plays are like this. I'm just trying to give some general ideas and points out as to why people tend to dislike free-to-play players so much. Okay, so now we're getting down to the real meat of the question. So while I definitely feel like some of it is totally justified and that we do have a certain bias against free-to-play players, and I understand why it's there, and I think it should kind of stay because it definitely exists, I do think that free-to-play players get more shit than they deserve, and definitely we should give them a break. It kind of has to be taken on a case-by-case basis, in which, you know, sometimes you will deal with a free-to-play who's like 8 years old and won't listen to you and will constantly be going, you know, sniper even though you already have 2 or 3 snipers and just being an absolute nuisance to your team. It's gonna happen, and those guys are definitely the ones you want to be looking out for. Those are the really shitty free-to-plays. You gotta put yourself in the shoes of a free-to-play every now and again, especially if you're not one, then obviously that's what you have to do every single time. But if you're not a free-to-play player, you have to kind of remember that at one point you were just as inexperienced as them. This game was extremely alien to you, and it was very difficult, and I'm sure there's gonna be like those guys down in the comments section just stroking their long schlong, just like, oh, this game was never hard. I played for like 7 minutes, and I was already top scoring in every game. And you know what, that's really cool, but that's not really the point. The point is that everyone has to start this game from somewhere, and some of these people, they just don't know what they're doing, and you know, we have to be their guide. We have to help them learn this game. Kicking people from a match just for being shitty, there's no excuse for that. Kicking people from a match for being shitty and toxic, there's a plethora of reasons to remove them from a game. On the other side of that coin though, if you are a free-to-play player, I think you do need to understand why this bias exists, and it's simply because there are a lot of people out there who are free-to-play, who are toxic, who are bad at this game, and just won't take advice and won't get any better. And I know it's not really fair to hold you up to that standard, but you have to understand why the bias is there, and just kind of, I know it just kind of sucks to say, but just kind of go with it. It won't last forever, and I think for the most part, as long as you're just learning the game, if you get better, no one's going to care what hat you're wearing. If you're top scoring with a Gibbous on, well, I guess you could sometimes be called a hacker, but I mean, that doesn't really happen all that often. Let's be real with ourselves. For the most part, people only really care if you're a free-to-play if you suck at the game, because at that point, it's just like, all right, well, he's inexperienced, he sucks at the game, and that's going to cause some issues. But if you're legitimately trying, if you're taking criticism, if you're trying to learn how to play this game the right way, then I don't really think people are going to give you as much shit as you think they will. I myself started this game after the free-to-play update, and I was a free-to-play myself at one point, and I don't remember getting harassed all that much. I enjoyed my time with TF2 back then basically as much as I do now, and I don't really see any reason to have quit the game at that point. I was having tons of fun, people were constantly helping me learn how to play the game, and it was also because I just wanted to learn how to play the game. I was doing my best to improve, and I think people saw that, and they cared. And on that note, let's dive into the Friendlies. So a friendly in TF2 is somebody who usually is in the middle of combat or something like that, like a, you know, any one of the game modes where people are usually fighting each other, and they're trying to be as pacifist as possible. So they're staying out of the way, or maybe they're in the way and they're like crouching down. The most common version would probably be the sandwich hoovy, in which case someone will take a sandwich and they'll go around as hoovy, just like crouching there. Well, they call it hoovy, but it's just a heavy. You go around as a heavy, just crouching with a sandwich, and sometimes you give it to people, sometimes you don't. But it just kind of shows that you're being harmless, you're not really going to attack anybody, and that's the idea behind being a friendly. Friendlies come in all shapes and sizes, though. They come from everything from box spies, my personal favorite, to spy crabs, and pyros with just, you know, holding out their melee and crouching and walking around. I mean, there's really no end to what a friendly can be. It's anything that looks relatively harmless, I guess technically counts as a friendly. As long as you're not attacking people, you're being friendly. And by that definition, some people are going to say, oh, well, then a medic is a friendly then, right? Because they're not attacking anyone? No, not right. You are healing somebody who is killing people. You are an enabler. You're just as bad. So I think that friendlies come from that deep-seated place that everyone has in their mind. You have it whether or not you realize it, that just goes against authority. You just want to break rules. You just want to do something that is just unexpected, and you don't want to be following the norm. And I understand that everyone wants to be a little bit different, but that's, you know, that's just, I think that's where friendlies come from, this inherent need to do something that is unexpected and different. You don't own me. And, you know, not everyone has that case. Maybe that's just the reason that I could think of that someone would want to go friendly. Maybe you just want to do it because you legitimately don't like killing people, but you really like playing video games with guns in them for some reason. I mean, who really knows where and what void friendlies crawl themselves out of, but I think we can all agree that they always come from the bottom of the scoreboard. Now, there can be a number of reasons why people hate people who are being friendly within a game. The most obvious one being that if you have a friendly on your team, you're immediately a man down in that game. There's somebody who is not helping you do anything in particular. They're not really assisting the team, and you basically have dead weight or someone who's AFK on your team, and it can be kind of frustrating, especially if you're losing really badly. This is made even worse by the fact that you know that they're not AFK, so you know that they're actively trying to be useless within the game, and it can be really, really frustrating, and I really understand why people dislike friendlies a lot of the time, because if they're on your team, you've really been put in a really bad situation, and it's not your fault. You're a man down all the time because somebody is actively trying to do nothing. And as much as people who are friendly probably don't think that they're doing nothing, to everyone else who's playing the game, they're doing nothing. Friendlies are not very often difficult or frustrating to play against. However, it does happen every now and again where you will end up running up against some sort of friendly, and you accidentally kill them or you accidentally damage them, and either A, you feel bad because you accidentally damage them and you're not supposed to be killing them, or B, you do kill them, and then the person who's friendly gets really upset about it because you killed someone who was on the opposite team, just like, Gay Ben intended. It can be on accident, it can be intended. However, for the large part, most people look down upon people who kill free-to-play players just because they're not actively trying to kill anyone, so you shouldn't be actively trying to kill them. Okay, so this one's actually kind of a hard one. I know it sounds like I really dislike friendlies, and a lot of the times I do. I really do dislike friendlies a lot of the time. However, I do feel like there is a place in Team Fortress 2 for friendly players, or more appropriately, a time and a place. You see, friendlies in essence are part of the reason why I love Team Fortress 2 so much, and it has a lot to do with the general feel and attitude of the game. TF2 is really unique in that way that it kind of encourages a sort of casual twist on a more competitive-ish type game. The game itself is really hard and it takes a lot of skill to master, but you can also be really silly and taunt and, do funny things. This kind of behavior seems actively encouraged by, the fact that we sell hats and taunts and all that kind of stuff, and there's wacky weapons in the game like the holiday punch that just, make people laugh every time you punch them with a crit. And that sort of off-the-wall humor, that sort of crazy casualness feel of TF2 is part of the reason why I love the game so much. However, there is a big difference between being funny and just being in the way, and a lot of friendlies are doing the latter, not the former. Friendlies are often funny and entertaining for a moment, and then immediately become just a nuisance to basically every single person in the game. Being friendly is one of those jokes that gets old really fast, so you need to make sure that you're using it sparingly in order to make sure that it stays funny. Some of my favorite moments in Team Fortress 2 are the moments where I became a friendly for only a few seconds, where me and another spy were trying to have a headshot ambassador duel. We got caught out in the middle and we were trying to kill each other, but both of us suck way too much to actually land a headshot, so then we just start spy crabbing with each other for a second until then we get bored and we decide to move on, or somebody comes through and kills one of us. It's little moments like this that are unforgettable, something that's actually funny because it actually came about in a bit more of a natural way. We decided to stop trying to attack each other for a moment because we were both too stupid to actually kill each other. This is also how friendship is made. Me and the guy Hex, who makes my intro, we met each other in a casual game because of a friendly moment. Because I walked out of spawn and saw him hiding behind spawn and I caught him. And instead of killing him, he crouched down, took out his little melee weapon, and we just started being stupid for a couple seconds. It was a hilarious and unforgettable moment that I'll always remember whenever I think about Hex. However, it wouldn't be nearly as funny if the entire game I was doing that exact same thing, just walking around and being useless. If you're really that tired of playing the game, then just go to a trade server or something like that. Someplace where you're not just going to hinder a team and make their experience worse. Oh, and one other thing, if you're being a friendly and you're on the cart or you're on the objective or something like that, don't be offended if I kill you, because you are literally in the way. You are hindering my progress and I'm going to kill you. In fact, getting upset about being killed while playing friendly is about one of the dumbest things you could possibly do, because you're playing a game with a ton of guns in it where people are supposed to kill you. So getting angry or upset at them because they're doing exactly that is just unfair to everyone, including yourself. So overall, is the hate towards friendlies actually justified? I'd have to say yes, because they're really doing very little to actually help anyone with the game, and they're just making the game that much more frustrating to play for everyone except themselves. It's an extremely selfish move, and it's something that you really need to consider before doing. Not to mention, a lot of times it's actually kind of boring. Like, you don't really really end up achieving a whole lot while playing friendly a lot of the time. Most of the time, you just end up dying a lot. But anyway, guys, that's just my opinion on free-to-plays and friendlies. I would love to know what you think about it down in the comments section. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a flame war down there between the free-to-plays and the friendlies and everyone who's not either of those things. But I really do hope you enjoyed the video, and I do want your honest opinion in the comments section. But real quick before I go, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Nurse Walrus for the generous donation. I know it's not the first donation I've received, and I know that I haven't highlighted all the donations I've received up to now. However, I really thought about it, and I really think I should be, giving more credit to people who are giving me donations. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for the donation. You guys are honestly the best fans anyone could possibly ask for. You guys support me so much, and my channel has grown so much because of your guys' support and all your guys' love for this channel. So I really appreciate it to everybody who watches my videos, everyone who subscribes to my channel, and it means a lot to me, and it definitely keeps me going. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and with that, let's keep the internet classy. I'll see you then. Hello, my name is Sir Stanger. Hello, my name is Sir Stanger. Hello, my name is Sir Stanger. Hello,
can I have the attention of the internet?
My name
for
is
1 second.
My name is Sir Stanger.